fun, baby. So I've been flirting with someone about a decade older than me on a dating app. He sent me a message that was like, hey, I think you are really, really attractive. I don't know if you'd be interested in someone older like me, but I thought I would shoot my shot. And if you'd like to talk, that'd be great. So just let me know if you would. And I'm like, hell yeah, dude. You know what? I appreciate the hustle. I appreciate shooting your shot and being polite about it. So I messaged him back. And, you know, I've dated plenty of people that were a decade older than me. That's it. A 39 compared to a 30-year-old, not that old. We're all living life. We're all doing our best. But I knew at some point there would be a cultural distance of some kind. There would be something that would wake me up to be like, oh right, there is an age difference between us. We were talking for about half an hour or an hour and things are going really well. He's like a really cool dude and I'm like, we're actually vibing. And then he asks, so what is a himbo? I'm not sure. And I'm like, oh, there it is. I don't know why I'm drinking this Mountain Dew with a straw. I had DoorDash delivered and they gave me a straw for it and I said okay and I just put it in. Daddy, feel like I'm at prom and I don't want to get my lipstick smudged. Kings, queens, in-betweens, and neither beings. Hello, it has been a long time. I cannot remember the last time I just sat down and filmed a video. Normally it's like an hours-long vlog that is tracking transition of something. I'll be honest, those videos I have filmed because I get questions all the time about transition stuff, and if I'm honest, my memory is shit, so I'm not gonna remember. And I'm like, if I don't vlog about this right now, the answers are gonna go off into the ether and we're never gonna know. So I'm compiling all of the information for history. I'm mainly documenting it so heavily to help science people in the future, or people who are transitioning, or people with family who are transitioning, and sometimes just as people who just want to learn about trans stuff. And I'm not expecting the average person to sit down and watch a 6.5-hour video about penis surgery. But I'm fully funded on Patreon, and so I get comments on the page sometimes about, like, when I give some patrons, depending on your tier, the videos early. And some people are like, hell yeah, I've been waiting for this. I'm gonna go watch this now. And I'm like, what? Sir, this video is 8 hours long. Are you okay? But I am just now embracing what a massive compliment that is, that I guess am entertaining enough that people will sit through hours and hours of me sitting on a couch and being like, my dick hurts, I'm really happy. And you know, I edit for Quentin Reviews and he does hours and hours long videos about iCarly and stuff. And you know what? I'm excited when they come out. I'm like, hell yeah, I can't wait to sit down and watch this in 15-minute chunks while I go about my day. It does take me about a week or so to get through those videos because I'll like watch them in a batch and then be like, I'm gonna go to sleep, and then I'll watch more. So I understand. But yeah, I wanted to do a shorter episode of PinkBlue to kind of break it up because I didn't like how many hours and hours long videos there are in a row. It just had to happen that way because, you know, the surgeries were happening at a time that I needed to get those videos out and I needed to compile them. And luckily I edit as I go, so they're pretty quick to get through as long as I'm keeping up with my work. So here's a shorter video. I was taking a nap and I literally thought of a thesis statement and was like, let's make a video based on that thesis statement. And here's the thesis statement. Are you ready? This is what inspired me to make the video. The thesis statement for this video is, fucking people with bigger dicks made me fall in love with mine. So I would like to start this video off just by saying this is not meant to shame anyone of any dick size. I'm just gonna be talking about my personal experience with phalloplasty, with fucking as a trans man. This is just my scope of things. All dicks are real cool and beautiful, and you know what? Yours is great. If you got one that you're proud of, that's awesome. So a quick overview for some people who might not have been keeping up with the what do you mean you haven't been keeping up with the 6 to 8 hour long videos about my penis? What are you doing with your life if you're not watching that? Wasting it. That's what you're doing. But yeah, if you're not one of those people, here's a quick summary of some information that would be useful to know. There are 2 bottom surgeries that transmasculine people can have. one is metoidioplasty. This is also just like not sciencey terms. This is just my summary of things. It's going to be very, very quick and dirty. There's metoidioplasty and there's phalloplasty. Metoidioplasty basically takes what you already have down there. You have to be, usually they make you be on testosterone for a year or so to just make sure that your T-dick growth is the most that it can be before they do a surgery. Metoidioplasty, they will take what you already have down there. They can give you some scrotal implants if you want. And they'll usually make like a smaller penis out of the stuff you already got down there. Depending on your surgeon, in some cases, I believe you are able to pee out of there if they can get the urinary hookup going. But I might be wrong about that because I did do research on metoidioplasty a long ass time ago. But science is also evolving every year, so I might be wrong right now, but maybe in a couple of years you will be able to. I don't know the most about metoidioplasty. I did my research years ago on it. But phalloplasty is where you get a larger result. They take a skin graft somewhere on your body. It can be from the leg or the arm, or sometimes it's like there's skin on like the back. I don't know where on the back. I think it's like the lower, this area. They actually create a phallus. You get to pick the size and they'll try to get it as close as possible to that size. I don't know if it's required, but you can get urethral lengthening and, piss out of it. And you can also get scrotal implants if you want to. You can also opt to not have balls if you want to. That's cool too. I got the whole kit and caboodle. I got balls and a ween. And because you get to pick the rough size of what your dick is gonna be, I wanted to do the most amount of research to figure out what size do I want. And that required talking to friends, talking to partners, sexual partners, romantic partners, whatever, because I'm a top switch. I'm very pleasing to people. Like if someone is turned on, I'll be turned on. If I'm making someone feel good, I'm gonna feel good. I'm very service toppy. So like I don't want a dick size that is going to be uncomfortable for other people. I want to do what is best for other people. And I will be fucking happy with whatever size I get. I didn't have a dick for fucking 20 plus years, like I'm very excited for whatever size the fucking thing comes out to be. My T-dick was an inch hard, if I get even another inch on that, wow, bless up, fucking dope. And in my research, I also, researched online what people were saying in general. In the studies that you'll see online about like dick size and pleasure and all that stuff, usually the studies are very like cis heteronormative. They're not really including non-binary people or trans people or whatever. But it was, I wanted to get all the information. So I was like genuinely curious, like, oh, what does this community also think of penises? And the results were very interesting and kind of united in the middle. I just realized I'm wearing my rings. I'm a ring guy now. I got rings. Here's the thing. I wear my grandfather's wedding ring that he gave to me when he passed. And I don't want people thinking I'm married. Even though I'm not wearing it on my ring finger, I wear it on the middle finger. But I was like, I feel like I need more rings. I feel like I need to even it out because one ring, someone looks real quick and they're like, oh, he's married? Mm-hmm. Why are you flirting with that girl? Hey, Nowacking sucks now. He's flirting with a girl and he's married. Listen, polyamorous people exist, but also understandable. So I got more rings and I've just been getting used to them, breaking them in and stuff. This one's a scorpion. But the research on both ends of the spectrum gave me really interesting results where we kind of united in most of the beliefs. So we'll start with personal research. I talked to people with penises. I talked to people without penises all over the fucking spectrum. I talked to cis women, cis men, non-binary people, and just got a gauge on their experiences. The people with penises, their dicks ranged from 3 inches to 9 inches. Some of them I was sleeping with, some of them I had slept with in the past. And the people with bigger dicks were saying that it was more difficult for them to engage in pleasing sex. They would feel good, but the issue is the bigger the dick got, the more difficult it would be to put it inside of someone, whether it's a mouth or a butthole or a front hole. And they would actually get stressed out when they would, especially with blowjobs, they would get stressed out because they don't want to hurt the other person. And someone with a 9-inch dick, they're never gonna be able to get the whole dick down someone's throat unless you're a fucking porn star. I'm sure some sex workers are like, great, they got like they got a system. I know there's a trick that when you like, if you got a dick in your throat and you like put your thumb over this way and you like squeeze here or something, it's supposed to like open it more. Whatever the trick was, it actually worked when someone explained it to me. And I was like, I don't know the science behind that, but I was trying to figure out if it was a placebo thing. I was trying to figure out if like, you know, when you're trying to stop someone from having a panic attack, if you're like, name 5 things in the room. I wasn't sure if it's like, distract yourself with other things. Think about other things so you don't think about the dick in your mouth. But from everything I tried, it does seem like that does something. I don't know. But with all the tricks and tips you can do when you got a tip in you, I didn't plan that. You're still gonna have a difficult time the bigger your dick is on the scale. And the people with smaller penises, their sex lives were better. Because here's also the thing, is what I learned, especially pre-transition, I couldn't orgasm until I started T and until my T dick grew. I could not orgasm. And of course that makes sense, because if you don't connect to your body in any way, of how are you supposed to come? So my experience with sex was just making the other person happy. So I got really skilled at sex because I didn't care about orgasms, like my orgasms, you know, because I couldn't. So I kind of cheated in that aspect. I am skilled in that department because there wasn't anything in it for me otherwise. I'm good at fingering, I'm good at eating pussy, but these are also, you know, like the give and take is that I'm good at sex with people with front holes. I'm not as skilled at sex with people with dicks because 1, I'm not as attracted to them, and 2, I wasn't attracted to them pre-transition. So I'm kind of learning as I go with them. I would say I'm mainly sleeping with people with penises right now just because it's easy. It's easier. As awful as that is to say, it kind of is. Like it's like ordering a pizza. You can just go on Grindr and find a dick and be like, cool, that one. Instant gratification. So I'm not as attracted to them. I'm like, if I'm like, I want my dick sucked, could we do that? And when it came to people without penises, when I asked them about their experience with dicks, they honestly did not care about dick size. The only thing they wanted was for it to not be too big. And too big to them seemed to be outside of the 6-inch range. And that makes sense because there's only so much space in the body to contain the penis. And I could see it from their point of view, because as someone who has had 9 inches in that good old butthole, it's too much. It's too much. I will make exceptions if the person is hot enough, if they are nice enough to me, where I'm like, but sometimes I get tricked, you know? I realize like 8 to 9 inches is just too much for me, and I don't seek it out. But then I'll meet someone who's like kind and funny, and like, I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it. And then we go to have sex and they pull out their dick and it's fucking 9 inches. Oh boy. But they're so cute and they're so nice. So we'll do it. Sometimes though, I gotta be like, we can't put it all the way in. It simply will not fit. And it hurts, you know? So I give a little yelp, and I feel bad for yelping because they're so nice. I don't think I've never slept with anyone with a 9-inch dick who was not like so kind. So I feel bad if it goes all the way in and I give a little whoop, you know, and they're like, oh fuck, I'm sorry, and we like slow down, but I feel bad. No one likes to feel that. And I had to think about if my dick was 9 inches. If I'm fucking someone and they give a little whoop, I would feel terrible, you know? So I don't want that. And so I considered that when thinking about what size penis I wanted. So in my notes that I was taking, I was like, okay, 9, too big. 8? I don't want that either. 7? No. And I settled at 6. I found through talking to people, this part of the research, that 6 seemed to be the sweet spot. If I was somewhere between 3 to 6 inches, I would be perfectly fine, and that'd be great. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't finish my thought from before. Because I couldn't orgasm pre-transition, I got really good at sex in that respect. And that's all you really need. There are many different studies done on cis women primarily, but for whatever you want to call it, AFAB people, femme presenting, if you have a front hole, 70 to 90% roughly of those people cannot orgasm from penetration alone. So I'm at an advantage. There's a joke among cis female friends that if a guy is over 6 foot, he doesn't know how to eat pussy. And it's true. It seems to be true. If you're tall, penetration-wise, they don't think about foreplay at all. So 5'5" me is at an advantage because I don't have the height. I could go down on a woman like no one's business. And I think if I was tall, I would not have learned. If I was tall, that would be my whole personality. But we had to learn to be funny. And now we're reaping the benefits. I am so grateful I was not popular in high school or born cis male. I would not know. I wouldn't have bothered. I'd be a little monster. Not all cis men are monsters, but I just know me and my personality. I'm very fortunate to be trans. Would much rather know how to please a woman in bed and get to pick my dick size. Hooray! So yeah, my dick did not have to be that big. If I was 3 to 6 inches, that's fine, because that's all that matters is how I'm going to feel from things being done to my dick. Because if I can make someone come before I go inside of them, that's great. That's usually what I aimed for even before phalloplasty. I had a 6.5-inch extender that attached to a bumper, which then rubbed on my T-dick, and that's how I would have penetrative sex. And I usually, went down on a girl, made her orgasm before I did my thing, because I knew there was no guarantee that she was gonna come from me penetrating her. Okay, so that's that part of the research, right? That's part 1 of my field research, is personal stuff. Now for the online stuff. I read a shit ton of articles that were primarily aimed at and researched through cis male and cis female people. Articles and studies that mainly focused on dick size on both sides of them. Like, what did you like? What do you like having? What's happening with penises in the cis community? And through researching cis men, they cared about what their dick size was in comparison to other men. When it came to their own size, they were insecure because of what other men might think of them or lead them to believe. But this is straight cis men. And on the opposite side, women who sleep with men did not give a shit about dick size. They don't fucking care. And it was the same thing, where the only thing they cared about was that it wasn't too big. So you see this repetition of like, I don't care what your dick is as long as it's not too large. What matters is the personality that's attached to the penis. And that is beautiful. But yeah, that makes sense. If someone wants to fuck you, they want to fuck you, not necessarily your dick. Like, they want to fuck your dick, but it's because it's attached to you. It's a part of you. That's what they're aiming for. If you have a hot personality, that's what people care about. And it's so fucking sad that, like, through this research, especially these cis male studies I found, it's just, there's so much body hate that's instilled in cis men who grow up. And that makes sense because, culturally, we're fucking obsessed with dick size. I'm on Pornhub for research, and you get all these ads that are like, this'll make your dick bigger. Put this pump on your dick, it'll make it bigger. You can gain fucking 5 inches if you take these pills or whatever. And it's all bullshit and crap, but like, we lead cis men to believe they need these things. We make guys fucking hate themselves for something that doesn't matter. Women have all of these body standards put on them as well, but like, people saying small dick energy and big dick energy, that doesn't matter. If you left cis men alone in like a bubble and didn't tell them to be ashamed of their penis, they would love themselves way more. They wouldn't be insecure. They wouldn't take it out on women. They wouldn't take it out on other men. They wouldn't be as big of bullies as some of them are. Because this is something that doesn't matter to your partner. So why should it matter to you? I just want to just gather them all up in a big hug. I wish I could help them. I wish we as a culture could just heal from this dick-obsessed fucking energy we got. Like, well, we can be obsessed with dicks. I like being obsessed with dicks. Dicks are real cool. I think we should be more accepting of whatever dick size you have. There are some trans men that I've talked to in the past who were insecure about their size because they have a T-dick and, you can only get up to a certain size with that depending on your growth. And I didn't understand that. And I realized I am probably a little spoiled because, like, my T-dick, I didn't suffer a level of dysphoria that other trans men did. And also through growth, I was an inch hard and there's not a lot of solid numbers on how big or small you can get from that, but I found that I was an acceptable size for me. I don't know if I was big for a trans dude or whatever, but I didn't understand other trans men being insecure about their T-dick size. And that's another part of the culture that's also pushed onto trans men, which is why a lot of trans men turn out to be pieces of shit. Trans men, I think, all go through a period of toxic masculine bullshit where we hate on women. You know, it was my fuckboy phase. That's the time of like 2 years. My first 2 years on T, I would say that I was in this fuckboy phase of hating women and just being hormonal and horny. And I was just a little shit. And you suffer the same things that cis men have to go through when you are transitioning to male. So if big dicks are important to cis men, they're important to trans men. And you're just never gonna be happy if you're trying to live up to this standard that doesn't matter. Isn't that wild about everything? It doesn't matter. And I didn't really fully absorb it until I was actually secure in myself. So with all this shit in mind, all these different groups of research, I put them together and I realized that 3 to 6 inches was correct for my comfort level. That if I was anywhere from 3 to 6 inches, I would be happy. And so I asked for the bigger end of the spectrum when my surgeon asked what size I would want. I said, you know, somewhere from 5 to 6 inches would be great. We'll aim for that, and if it's smaller, that's cool. So right now, in the time stream, I am more than a year post-Phallo stage 1. I have fluctuated between 3.5 inches to 4 inches, depending on different factors. When I was fresh out of surgery, I was 4 inches. And there's, you know, your dick is swollen because it was just surgeryed on. That's the wording I was gonna go with. Operated, that's a better word. And then as I healed, it shrunk down to 3.5. And then I got stage 2, the rod put in, and it swelled because it was infected. Unfortunately, with the rod, I chose the rod because it was the lower infection rate compared to the pump. With my specific surgeon, there still was a 9% chance that I could be infected and we'd have to get it taken out. And I guess I'm just lucky. But when it was infected, it did get up to 4 inches again. And in my head, I didn't know it was infected. So I was like, oh boy, I've gained some girth, but nope. So it got taken out and now it's 3.5 inches again, but the size is going to fluctuate with time. There are so many factors like gravity and everything else that are just going to stretch it or make it smaller or bigger or whatever. But if it stays around 3.5, I'm just so happy. Because I'll be honest, in the first year after Phallo, there's a bit of a transition period where I just wanted the answer. You know, I have anxiety. I don't like not having the answer. If it's gonna be 2 inches, just tell me. If it's gonna be 5 inches, just tell me. But because I didn't know and things were up in the air, I was kind of obsessed with it a little bit, trying to think of like, well, where's it gonna end up? And now that I know where it's ended up, I honest to God could not be happier. And I'm so grateful that it happened this way, because if you asked me a year ago, I would be like, oh, well, maybe I'd like it a little bigger than 3.5 or 4 inches. But with the 3.5 to 4 inches, I'm a shower and not a grower. And with what I am packing, it's difficult sometimes to wear underwear and to wear pants because I am that size. I've had to get special underwear for people with larger dicks, and that sucks because I had to throw away a lot of real good underwear that has served me well over the years, but I couldn't wear it anymore. I couldn't fit. So I can't imagine what it would be like if I was packing 6 inches soft and just like I would be not as happy. When I had the rod in for a bit, you know, and even before that, I was constantly worried, like, are people gonna think that I'm hard? Just walking around, you know. But it turns out not everyone is looking at my dick. You're a little paranoid about that, but not everyone is looking at your penis. And once everything was healed enough and I was able to receive blowjobs, I realized, oh my God, yes, this is absolutely the perfect size. 3.5, 4 inches fits in someone's mouth. Perfect. And that's especially important in my case because the T-dick, you know, when you do the surgery, you can have it exposed, but I had mine buried. So my T-dick is buried at the base of my scrotum. So in order for me to feel the most pleasure from blowjobs, they have to put the dick all in their mouth and like press up and kind of like slap against my scrotum to stimulate it. And number one, super hot. But number two, if I was more than 3.5 inches or 4 inches, it would be more difficult for someone to fit all that in their throat. They'd be having to learn the tips and the tricks of folding your finger there or whatever the fuck. And I would be self-conscious about it. I would be scared that I was gonna hurt someone. But I have had zero complaints. I've done a lot of talking with the people because I'm like, tell me if this is hurting you because I do not want that. But they can handle it perfectly, and that's all that matters. I'm feeling top tier pleasure from blowjobs just because they can fit my whole cock in their mouth. And that's amazing. I don't have to worry about being scared. I don't have to worry about hurting the other person. It's a comfortable girth and a comfortable length. And that's all that matters, is that my pleasure from sex and things interacting with my dick is maxed out. I couldn't ask for anything better. I am having the best orgasms of my life. And that's such a relief because, you know, there's no guarantee that you'll be able to orgasm after, well, I shouldn't say that. It depends who your surgeon is. If you go to someone who's like not known for these surgeries, but when I talked to my surgeon and was like, will I be able to orgasm after surgery? He was very surprised. He was like, yeah, no, I would be very surprised if you wouldn't be able to orgasm after this. But I went in fully aware that there was no guarantee. I was thinking like, well, if I never have another orgasm the rest of my life, it will still be worth it. And it was, and it is. Something else that is very cool is that the percentages range and stuff, but it's unlikely that I would be able to produce cum from my dick because it's kind of only like if you were producing it before. But through healing and getting to know my body and getting to know what gets me hard, I've learned I produce pre-cum and cum through coming. I should use a different word. I produce cum through coming does not portray. I produce cum through orgasm. When I come. And so that's going to be really useful for penetrative sex. You know, if I'm inside of someone, I can produce my own ejaculate. And so that will, you know, lubricate things. And it's so nice. I'm always worried about, and I'm not worried. I just don't want to make anyone uncomfortable, but I guess that's what the beginning disclaimer is. Like, hey, I'm going to be talking about jizz. Yeah, let's talk about jizz. When I'm jerking it and I produce my own cum, it's so nice. It's so nice. Because I'm jerking off with lotion and then my cum comes out and it mixes with it is slippery. I'm thinking about if I'm inside of someone, I'm able to lubricate it more, and it's so nice. It's so nice. I'm having top tier orgasms. It's real cool. I only had the rod in for less than 3 months, and the 3-month mark is when you're allowed to have penetrative sex with it. So unfortunately, we had to take it out right before that. But that's fair, because I think maybe it would have hurt me, because it was infected and I did not know. But God, I can't wait to take that out for a spin. Do the do. But yeah, if I were to take an exit survey, a questionnaire about how satisfied I am with my results, I couldn't be happier with how much skin was taken versus the size versus the pleasure versus the sensitivity. I could not be happier, and I really didn't think that was gonna happen. Like, I'm going to one of the top places in the world for this, but I don't know, there's so many factors. I'm so fortunate that I heal as well as I do, and that I've had such little complications. You go into something like this and you should expect complications, but I've only had a small amount compared to, you know, other people. The size ended up being absolutely perfect. My sensitivity is off the charts. Like, sometimes my underwear is touching too much on my dick and it gets overstimulated. But I'd much rather that, you know, than not stimulated enough. I also wanted to give myself the best chance at everything feeling the best and going the best. Having the donor site be the arm yields the best results statistically, you know, through sensitivity and all that. And also the rod has the lowest level of complication. So I've combined everything. I made sure I took my vitamins. I worked out. I don't smoke tobacco. You know, I combined all these factors to give me the best results possible, and it all paid off. I'm in the best shape of my life physically. I've kept in shape, and that does help with surgery recovery and everything. So doing my research and just trying my best and being in a good mental place, I'm so happy. I'm also figuring out ways to store my penis in my underwear that are the most comfortable. God, I'm really glad it wasn't bigger. I'm so glad, because like, you always think you want something, and I realized I don't want a bigger size. The only reason I would want a bigger size is if someone else wanted me to have a bigger size to make them feel the most pleasure, but they don't care, so okay, I don't care. And that taught me a valuable lesson about toxic masculinity and like dick size culturally, like especially in America. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. If you're, I'm here telling you, if you are a cis man or you're non-binary, whoever has a penis out there, your dick's fucking great. And if you do have a bigger penis, just learn to communicate with your partner and like things will go well. Learn how to eat pussy. I'm begging you. Please learn how to pleasure someone because your dick is not gonna be able to make them orgasm 70 to 90% of the time. God. Those 10% of people though, props to you. That's so cool that you can orgasm through penetration. Anyway, we've learned a lot about buttholes and dicks today. I'm not sure how to end this one. Thank you for watching, and I hope you love yourself. You can take that as you want. Am I telling you to masturbate? Am I telling you to just give yourself a little hug and look in the mirror and tell yourself one good thing you love about yourself? That's something too. However you want to take that. I hope you love yourself today. The next episode of PinkBlue is going to be a long boy. It's called Halloweeny, and it's going to be about getting my rod taken out near Halloween. So enjoy that for those people that watch those hours-long videos. I believe the video after that is gonna be about another, it's gonna be another shorter video. But yeah, I would like to ideally do, if I have to do a long video, and I don't think I should have to after my surgeries are done. That's gonna be it, you know, the long vlogs. If I have to do a long vlog, if I have to do a 4 to 6 hour video, I want to break it up with a shorter video like this one, where we alternate them. Good luck, stay safe, maybe have an orgasm if you can. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you've gotten here, that means it's the end of the video, and it's time to say goodbye, but not until we give a special thank you to all my patrons over on Patreon. If you don't know, I am fully Patreon funded, which means YouTube can suck my dick. Anyway, thank you for supporting me. You literally make these videos possible. For sponsors like you, silver sponsors, wow, real cool. That's what I usually like say, like, now I want to give a special shout out to my silver sponsors, and then my diamond, and then my, well, it's gold and then diamond, but if you're here before, you know that. Anyway, silver sponsors: Alex Buhner, Andrew Dunn, Bria Katrina, Cyberlink420, Dan Millington, Dane McRae, Gatarine, Giselle Nara, Marie Byrne, Mike Fireburn, Mike Burnfire. Gonna try that again. It's just so funny that you two are in a row. You're in a row, and it makes my brain confused. Neve Kinor, Bakajawa, Sam McDonald, and Zoe. You know, silver sponsors, real cool. You know who else is real cool? If my computer will, yes, gold sponsors. Guess what? The gold sponsor is Sam Bartram. Thank you, Sam. And last but certainly not least, my diamond sponsors, the creme de la creme, Bread Synth, EPAM, Getty Skog, Leo Valkenhain, and Tsukiyomi. Thank y'all so much. I know it's like, you know, just cheesy shit that you say at the end that you're supposed to be like, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. But honestly, I really do appreciate y'all. Like I said, you literally make these videos possible. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.